welcome to the Get at Gaming Plus podcast. I'm Alex,
I'm Ben.
and we like to talk about all the nerd stuff that we like. I kind of like with deer in the headlights. Whenever I think of deer in the headlights, tangent here, um, I think of it might be the pilot of Scrubs, to where JD uh he has one of his like fantasies or whatever, and he like has antlers and he looks at a truck and he gets hit by the truck. That's the thing I think of when I think of deer in the headlights. I don't think of an actual deer. I think of Zach Braff as John Dorian.
Uh,
um but man, I love Scrubs. That's what this podcast is now about. It's a Scrubs podcast. No but Yeah, we talk about things we like Scrubs. If you're new here, consider hitting that follow button, or subscribe button, or whatever the buttons say, depending on where you're at. Spotify, YouTube. We're on YouTube. We're on all the podcast things for the most part. We're on iHeartRadio, I believe. We're on iTunes, and yeah, all those fun things. But this is a bi-weekly podcast where, again, we just talk about Scrubs apparently. um
It'll
but
be a podcast because I will be honest, I've maybe watched like 2 or 3 episodes.
I'm disappointed. So one of the things that got me through pandemic, and this might have been before we started podcasting, or maybe a little afterwards. No, it have to be afterwards.
Yeah, we started before the pandemic. Right before, believe it or not.
Yeah, right before. So like somewhere like halfway through our first year, Zach Braff and Donald Faison actually started their own podcast, and it's fairly successful, where they go through each episode of Scrubs and like talk about behind the scenes and have guests and stuff. It's really, really cool. And I believe that they are the group who started to make podcasts popular for celebrities, because there weren't really any celebrity podcasts. It was all video game journalism. It was niche things like this. And until that one, that's why you have the Pod Meets World, the Boy Meets World podcast. That's why you have was it the ladies from The Office. Like there's an Office podcast with the three, I think it's three of them, three of the ladies from The Office who just talk about The Office episode by episode. Yeah, it's crazy. It makes you think. It's weird that these celebrities and stuff, I mean, it's easy money, I feel, because like they were there, so they get to talk about something that they're hopefully passionate about, and just you get more information out of it. So like those super fans of The Office, of Scrubs, or whatever, you're gonna get a lot out of it. So I think that's really cool.
I think the pandemic was the highest year for podcasts because people were at home and trying to find things to watch and listen. And I feel like podcasts have always been really big, but I feel like now we're at a point now where it's huge.
Yeah,
you could look up anything and there's probably a podcast on.
It's like back when, I mean, still now currently, but when I have this interest in, let's just say, I don't know, I'm looking around. I don't know, I have an interest in musicals, let's say, or something. Like, there is probably a YouTube channel for that, is what you used to say. But now there's podcasts for that. So hopefully we are your podcast choice for all things we like. So nerd stuff, video games, movies, TV shows, I don't know, anything, honestly, anything that I want to talk about, that we want to talk about, I should say. I'm the host today, so I said this is my show now. I look at me, I am the captain. But yeah, how we normally start these shows is we talk about our hidden trophies and things like that. I personally don't really have anything to show, but I know you do, because our podcast co-host over here, I did tweet about it. I tweeted, without your permission, I tweeted the picture of the cake, But but yeah, no, you had a birthday. You don't have to
Did.
say how old you are. Obviously, you don't want to
No,
dox
I am
yourself if you don't
no,
want
I
to.
I'm 46 years young,
Hmm.
um, and so I have a lot of stuff, but most of it was birthday gifts and stuff, and um, so yeah, I'll kind of go through some of this, and I'll go through kind of quickly here,
Hmm.
um, but one of the things I got was Advanced Wars 1 and 2. I bought this myself. This is fantastic. It brings me back to playing it back when I was. Uh, I have to say it when I was emulating it. Uh, I know, and it looks better. It plays better. It's funny because those first couple missions, I was like S ranked,
Hmm.
and as you go on, it's like C rank because they do they get
Yeah,
harder.
for sure. I really like Advance Wars. I haven't picked up that one, but um, I remember playing that back when, and it's just different. It hits different. It's not like it basically is Fire Emblem, but with cannons and stuff,
Yeah,
and tanks. But it's just better in my opinion. It might also just be the me who like doesn't really like fantasy. So I think that's why. So like having cartoony characters and kind of a grounded war thing is interesting to me. Did you ever play the DS Advance Wars games where they were like more serious? I think they were like more anime based, and they were like I just remember like the art style was more gritty.
yeah. So this one is definitely not that.
Yeah.
But what they did do is they added voice acting. There's like when a general has their superpower they use, there's voice. It looks really cool. um, this one's not as gritty. It's very
Hmm.
bright sprites. It does have an anime feel to it, which is nice. um, and here's the only thing it is, you have to get through a good percentage of, I think you have to get through all of Advanced Wars 1
Hmm.
before you can play 2.
Okay.
So 2 is not unlocked yet. So um, this is one I've been. I guess I'm gonna do like playing and that. So this one I've been playing quite a bit of, and this one's hard to get now. So I don't know if it's like a physical release thing because I had Mega Man, the one that just came out,
Hmm.
and I canceled my order because they're looking at June or July for
It's
delivery.
crazy.
So I'll get it eventually, but this one here, it's I have not seen it anywhere. So
Hmm.
now I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for this one, but I bought it on sale. Um, but I bought Forspoken. I haven't played it yet. I liked some of the trailers when it was running right, and even though I got a bad reviews, I want to see it now that it's been out for a little bit. I mean, I literally got this for half of what the original price would be,
Hmm.
so um, I'm gonna try that one. I've not tried it yet. I forgot to mention also with my Advance Wars, I got me a newer Switch. So I got me an OLED. Um, and so
OLED.
um, I am fortunate enough that my son got the new Zelda one and he sold me his. And for being a 17-year-old kid, he really took care of it.
It's good.
Uh, um, so I, this thing's amazing.
Hmm.
Uh, I've been playing this and Donkey Kong Country, and Donkey Kong Country, being an older game, looks amazing on this. Maybe I'm just old, uh, and and stuff, but that OLED screen is fantastic. This one I just got yesterday because I gave my wife what I wanted for my birthday on Friday
Hmm.
evening. So I just got this one. She got me the deluxe edition. It's still in the wrapper. I've just not touched it yet. So I know there's been a patch and there's another big patch happening. I know there's issues with the game. I heard mostly on PC. Um,
Oh, for audio listeners, he was holding up Jedi Survivor.
oh
You
yeah, she
didn't
told me.
say what it was. I just
Yeah.
realized.
She got me the deluxe edition of it.
Okay.
Um, Yeah, so that one's kind of like, I'll see. We'll see. I never finished the first one. My
Yeah.
oldest son did, and so he's super excited because he was like, "Man, I want to buy it, but I don't want to spend the money." And when I got it, he was like, Sweet. So this will probably disappear like Elden Ring did
Yeah.
when I got it.
You gotta hide it somewhere. You gotta hide it like in your Master Chief helmet.
I could. I could. I was wearing that around the other day. So this is something that's really cool that my wife got because she understands me. So this is the vinyl for Ghost of Tsushima. Anyone that's listened to this podcast know that is like top 5 greatest games of all time in my world is this. Check this out.
Yeah.
And then the back, it's got a slip sleeve, it's got picture in there, and it's got all the music from not only just the game, but from the Iki Island um, DLC. I do not have a record player right now, so I can't listen to it.
Hopefully the records work, because records are very fragile things. I don't know if you've seen like even just like in transportation and stuff, like records have to be like stored in a certain temperature and
Yes,
humidity because otherwise they can warp even just a little bit, and then it's just like some song is just gonna be up or down a pitch because it's all messed up.
I will tell you the cool thing about new print vinyl is it's made better.
Yeah.
It sounds better. Like, my dad listens to old records that he had when he was younger, and they don't sound as good. But then he
Yeah.
bought a brand new press of something, and I was surprised. I was like, "Is that a CD or is it like MP3?" And he's like, "No, it's vinyl." I was very much impressed with
Well,
it. So
because vinyl and analog audio for the longest, I mean, depending on how you talk to, analog overall is still probably the best version of audio, but we've gotten very, very close to it with digital audio, such as was it FLAC? I think is the file type that's like very,
yeah,
very close to that type of audio format. But yeah, no,
um,
that's why they all sound really good.
I actually was on eBay trying to get a record I used to get as a kid. Believe it or not, they did a vinyl record of Scary Stories um, and Told in the Dark, or I can't think of the name of it, but it's that the movie they did that a couple of years ago. Um, and so they did like this whole vinyl record, and it was like all the stories read by, I don't know if it's the guy that wrote it, but it was very animated. So I'm like, oh, that'd be probably pretty cheap, right?
Hmm.
Like three hundred
Oh,
dollars.
of course.
I'm not buying that.
Yeah.
I will be okay without it.
Yeah,
Um,
I've thought about buying records because if you go to Fangamer, I don't know what their website is now. It used to be fangamer.net. It might be .com now. It might redirect. Who knows? But they're the ones who I got like the Mother 3 companion book. I've gotten like other like Legends of Localization stuff from them. But they also have a section for vinyls, for video game vinyls. So like you could get like Banjo Kazooie on vinyl. You can get Celeste. You can get I think like Samba de Amigo. You can get like a bunch of like random games and stuff on vinyl, and like that is a thing that people collect and people do. Like if you go to a like a Barnes and Noble, for example, there is a huge section of just vinyl records, and
yeah,
there are video games records in there too. It's not just through these sites and things. Like I forget exactly what I found, but I think it was something newer. Like it was some like newer game, like a Mario or something, like not that specifically, but like some sort of platformer type game that was there. Or like they re-release stuff all the time, like Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the movie. They released that on vinyl again recently. Yeah.
it's crazy to me because showing my age, when I was little, vinyl was still pretty popular, and I had Michael Jackson's Thriller, and I listened to the crap out of that. And so like it's funny to see all this stuff come back, and like I'm not like the biggest vinyl person ever. I love this, and video game music has come a long way. Um, if
Yeah.
you but even like some of the NES games, some of that music is just really good. And
Yeah.
so I actually so they are going to release God of War Ragnarok. I think it's the same one that came in the top tier for the collector's edition.
Hmm.
So very little people have it, you know. So they're going to do this as well. This is actually released by Sony. So this vinyl is, and I could have bought the whole album digitally to listen to my car and then on my phone, but I wanted that vinyl
Yeah.
sound of it.
Yeah.
And
I get you.
so um, luckily my parents are getting me a record player. They sent me a couple. I said no. I'm super picky on what I want.
Hmm.
And I picked one that's like a medium grade that will not only have the best sound, but works with my living room. I know that sounds weird.
Yeah.
So I only have one other game that I've been playing, and you're gonna laugh on this one. And it's not Halo. I've not played Halo in a bit, um, but so my son got me hooked on UFC 4. I know, right? And so I
Okay.
created this character, and he's like super. He's like overweight, kind of, and you know, I was having the hardest time like winning, right?
Mm.
And so I did the training and on the career mode, that's what you keep doing. You get new contracts. And then I got to the point I was like, hey, I'm actually pretty good now. And then I learned this back spinning kick thing. And so now I'm winning all the time. So I've been playing a lot of that. I just got my first Dana White contract. So, but that's, to be honest, like I play like, you know, 2 fights in career and do some training, and that's about it. I'm not really into it. I played more. To be honest, I played more on this than I have on my PS5 or my Xbox. So I do have a game that I want to bring up real quick. It's downloaded. It's on Xbox Game Pass if you have it. It's called Cassette Beast, and
Is it the
I
rhythm game?
yes,
I
but
saw a TikTok ad for it. It looks like Guitar Hero.
well, no, this one's different. So this one is like it's kind of Pokemon-ish. So you
Okay.
collect cassette tapes, but then you use them to fight, and they turn into creatures.
Okay.
I've been following that group for a while, and when it showed up there, I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to download this. So I haven't played it yet, but the graphics look really good. It looks very much like a Pokemon ish game,
Okay.
and so I will play it. But that's pretty much it for me
Okay.
there. And like I said, I just have a lot of stuff because it was my birthday. So
Yeah. I mean, it's fine. I mean, sometimes you have stuff and it's not your birthday, and you have even more things. You can just say
it's
you can just say you're spoiled. It's totally fine. Doesn't matter. Um.
that's why I work 40 hours a week.
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, joking aside, me and Alex both wish we only worked 40 hours. I haven't worked 40 hours a week in like 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been like 50, 55.
Yeah.
So
But I guess we'll go with my stuff here. So what have been, I don't have anything to really like show off as far as hidden trophies go, but what I've been playing for the past couple weeks, I guess, since we are a bi-weekly podcast, I have been playing Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. I have beat Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, and the story is very, very good. Wish I could say the same for the gameplay. I just don't enjoy the gameplay at all. I think it just feels very. It feels getting into it. It feels like an MMO, and that's fine. But it also feels like a clunky MMO. So like, eventually, I learned like what to do, sort of, but there came to that certain point where I just wasn't doing well at all, and I wasn't gaining enough experience to where I changed it to casual mode. And even after doing casual mode, I was in the final boss like rush at the end, um, where you have to fight a boss with 2 different forms, and you have to go through this other thing where you can't save, and then you fight the final boss who has 3 forms. And I was dying to that final boss at a second form a ton of times. So I had to quit. I had to go back to before all that, go grind for a bit, and then try again. And I did this like 4 times of
oh
like
wow.
grinding, going to see, getting a little further. stopping, because I was levels below, but like with casual mode, like you can be 10 levels lower, but as long as you like stick to it, you can beat something. But the exp that you're getting from it isn't really worth it. So like it's not like Pokemon, you know, like say like Pokemon, you defeat an enemy that's like a Pokemon that's a level 50 and you're level 20. You would get more exp from this level 50 thing, but I'm not in Xenoblade. Like it just feels like I'm getting the same amount as exp and I'm leveling up slowly and slowly. So I had to do some quests. I got the best weapon for your one of my main people from the game, Ryan. So I got his best weapon in a quest that I just happened to find. Um, I got one of Shulk's best weapons near the end, because he gets different versions of his weapon. Um, and so I did all that, and then I finally beat the game, and I enjoyed the story a lot. At a certain point, that last chapter was very long, um, but it pulled a JRPG. It felt very much akin to I don't know. It felt, and I'm gonna be talking about this later, but it felt like Evangelion. As far as like um turning expectations and because I don't really want to give spoilers per se, but like uh higher beings and stuff like that. I mean, I guess like every RPG ever, especially either um, what's his face, Sakaguchi, like the old Final Fantasy guy. Um, it's always ends up with you're trying to fight like a higher level being, like you're
Right.
fighting God. Because that's just like a meme in anime. It's a meme in RPGs and stuff, but like that's essentially what it was at the end, for lack of a better term. And so like it's really really cool like how things like melded together, but I didn't really care about the story until about halfway through. um and then things started to actually pick up the pace, because the very beginning, like, yeah, your characters have motivation, but I didn't care. um
Right.
and but then once everything happened, and after like a certain scene where you think everything's ending, and it's like, just kidding, you have one more chapter, and now there's this other thing that you have to do and all this other stuff that leads up to this other big thing. And it was really cool to see that. I just wish that the game was better, in my opinion. Now like other people like this game though, so like it's not necessarily a hit on the game, because like there are other games in this series as well, um and they don't use the same battle system, thank
Right.
god. So they use something a little bit different. Um so yeah, I'm happy about that. So I beat the game, and then it has this DLC thing that you can play after the fact, and it's called Future Connected, and it takes place, I think, a year later in their time. And so you play as like Shulk and as Melia. Um, and so like yeah, you do that, and it's still the same combat. It just looks a little nicer and stuff. After about maybe an hour of that, I gave up on that and I turned it off, because I was like, I don't want this right now, especially like getting off of this big game. I don't want to play the same combat again. I need some sort of like refresher, or not a refresher, some sort of palate cleanser. And
Yeah.
so, um, going to my next game, I picked up Mega Man Battle Network again, doing that, and Mega Man Battle Network is still playing the first game. Played a little bit of it, but like it has first game itis, because it's a first game, but it still is very fun to its core. I'm looking forward to play more of that. I really like the music. I really like the characters. It's very short, sweet, to the point. It very much is a a portable game, and so I'm looking forward to play more of that. But otherwise, what I've really been playing past couple weeks, I started streaming every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. I've been streaming Digimon Survive, so I've only had 2 streams of that so far, and it is an experience. It is a visual novel first and foremost, with some uh, gameplay. I guess I should say.
It's funny. I have that game and watching you play it because I started it and I got like 10 minutes in. I'm like, man, it really is a lot more of like a novel with some gameplay.
Yeah, and the story is really cool and interesting. Like the characters are older than most Digimon. So I don't know how old they are in Cross Wars, but every other Digimon thing that I've watched, I guess Apply Monsters. I don't know how old they are in Apply Monsters, but generally in Digimon, the kids are like kids. Like they're like 10
Right.
to 12. Unless you look at something like Digimon Tri or O2, where the original characters were older. Savers or not Fusion, Data Squad is what it's called in America, or Ghost Game, the newest one, which is really really good. I still need to finish that. Those feature characters that are older, so like closer like 13, 14, and that's what these characters are. So like they are middle school students. They have more issues, they have more problems. They're not just children. So like it feels very anime in that sense. But so far I really enjoy the characters. I enjoy that Agumon is Agumon, like his voice actor is the voice actor who's been Agumon in everything except Savers, because it's a different type of Agumon, so it's a different
Yeah.
voice in that one. But every other Agumon, like even in like Cyber Sleuth and stuff, that is Agumon's voice actor from the original Digimon anime, like years ago, like the Japanese and all of that. So it's really cool to see that. Same thing with Gabumon, because you see Gabumon a little bit in the very very beginning. Um, so I always like it when I get to see and listen to those two, and it's like, oh, they're the same people. This is fun. It gives some sense of familiarity, but um, playing through the actual game, I got to actual gameplay like at the end of my stream yesterday, and it was interesting to see that um, you can just go to these little sections, the battle, or explore, and there isn't really in between. It's kind of just like, here, grind here, or just go explore for a bit. Here's your next objective, so you probably should grind here for a bit first. um and it's tactics, but it's not really that bad of tactics, so I don't really mind it. It feels more like chess than anything else.
Yeah, I was gonna say it does. It has that feel.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like Advance Wars. It doesn't feel like Fire Emblem. It feels simpler than that, and that's why I enjoy about it. I'm still not really a fan of that type of battle system, but it works. It's fine. The coolest part about it, though, is that it's very Shin Megami Tensei, in the sense of you can talk to enemies and you can get stuff from them. So either you can recruit them or you can get items from them, depending on how you answer questions. Um, so you kind of just have to remember, like, oh, Betamon like this response, and they like this other response a little bit, but they hate these other two responses. So you just like I have to like memorize, like, oh, I'm fighting a Betamon and I'm grinding here for this whole time, so I should know at some point, like, this is how to talk to them. So I got a Betamon from one of those, but all the other attempts that I've tried to get people have failed miserably. But you gain experience from also just ending the battle in general. You don't have to fight everything per se. So like if you do happen to fight something and it's gone, it's dead, and then you talk to the final enemy and you obtain it, then you all just get experience. Or if you fail and it happens to just leave, you still get experience. So that's nice. So it's not wasteful. Um, and from what it looks like, Agumon in particular has a lot of different ways that he can evolve. Um, and the others seem to as well, but Agumon has more uh differences. Like it looks like you really can do a lot more. There's more options for him, which is really cool. And then the Betamon that I got, I can already see his options for the next form. I just need to have an item, and then he can evolve to like a Seadramon next, a Deltamon, and something else. I forget what it was, but um, it's cool to see that it has that type of gameplay there. Now I'm wondering if it's like Cyber Sleuth, where I can evolve them and then de-evolve them. I'm hoping that's the case because otherwise, what's the point of evolving Agumon and having all these choices if I can't go back and do a different choice? Um,
Absolutely.
so, but I'm enjoying it a lot. I think it's very good. The last thing that I've actually been playing that I started a tiny bit is Xenoblade 2. So I did pop it in for updates last night, and then I played a little bit of it, and it's night and day. Like it grabbed me immediately. It looks very very good, and then the combat's different, and I was like, all right, you fixed everything for me. I am in, and it feels cartoony. It doesn't feel like serious like the other one right now. So like it like the text is very cartoony. Like there's word bubbles a lot more instead of like text underneath. um I'm exploring this little I don't know how to explain it, like island or like town, like a port, I guess I should say, because from what it looks like, I know nothing about this game, but like they have scavengers who dive into potentially the waters because I can kind of float on it, but it looks like clouds. So there's a bunch of like sky ships and stuff like that, and so you are a scavenger, like a diver, and you dive in and just grab stuff for money. So immediately you're thrown into a quest where it's like, hey, you're getting paid up front, you should go do this thing. I haven't done the first main quest yet, and so I've been exploring around the little town, and I did all the side quests that I can already. And so yeah, now I'm gonna actually progress with the game, and there's certain cool things about that where you can level up just by attacking enemies and stuff. But then if you go to an inn similar to Final Fantasy 15, you can choose to level up your people there as well, and it seems like you level up more when like your exp seems like it's worth more in an inn, because I'm level 6 now and I haven't really played a whole lot. So
Right.
I don't know what's up with that, but it's already grabbed me, and so
Good.
I'm mad because I shouldn't have done this. Because we have Zelda next week.
Right.
I haven't. Oh, also I haven't pre-ordered Zelda. I'm just gonna pray to the target gods that like I'm gonna like get up at like 6 a.m. or whatever, or whenever they open, and like click on the app and be like, for pickup, grab this for me, because that's what I did with I forget what game it was. I did it with something, and that's how I grabbed it. So
I don't think you're gonna have a problem buying Zelda. Like I've seen people on TikTok that I follow that are video game people that have found the Zelda Switch in store, and it's been like an abundance of Zelda Switches. So I personally don't think the game itself is gonna be hard to get.
oh, I did it for
Um,
Pokemon. That's what I did it for.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I think you're gonna have no problem finding it. I think it's
Well,
gonna be
because the thing was back in the day, um, I guess it also depends on like where you're going and stuff. But like back
right.
in the day, like when I used to work at GameStop, we would tell people, hey, especially where I worked at, which was more on the college side of town, um, we'd be like, hey, you should pre-order Pokemon. And they're like, no, no, you're gonna have a ton of copies. It's fine. It's like, sure, but Pokemon's the most popular game, and it's pre-ordered already. So we only get so much of that, and after that's gone, it's gone. We might get it in a couple of days, but there are probably a ton of people thinking the exact same way that you are. So at least if you pre-order it, you're guaranteed it. No, it's not. It's fine. And then they leave. They come back, and it's sold out. And they're like, "What? How is it sold out?" It's like, I told you to pre-order, man. So I
Yeah,
mean, that's on me. But like, if I don't get it, I can always download it though. Like that's the beauty of the internet and the eShops and all that stuff nowadays. But for something like this, I don't want to download. I want to have a physical cartridge.
I don't pre-order much of anything anymore. Um, I'm more of a if it's gonna be a console, then yeah, I would pre-order it because you're never, especially something popular, you just won't get it. But like, except for the Mega Man one, I've gotten games pretty easily. Even Metroid, that Metroid Prime remake, like I literally went like 3 days after it came out, walked into Walmart, bought it,
Yeah,
and walked out.
that's what we did too. And then all these other places are like, it's impossible to find. And like
Yeah,
even our buddy over there at the GameStop near us, he was telling me, he's like, "Oh, I'll let you know when we get it." And it's like, "No, it's fine." And I just walked over to the Walmart right beside it, and they had like 8 copies. It's like,
yeah,
all
and
right.
it still sells for a good amount on.
Mine's still sealed back there.
I mean, mine's open. I mean, it sells for like $70, 70, $80.
Maybe I
I
should.
saw one on Whatnot go sealed for like $90.
That's stupid because whatnot.
Yeah, yeah. So uh, I can wait. I have my copy. I opened it. I will eventually get to it. Now that I have an OLED, I will probably be playing more on my Switch.
Yeah, yeah. The Switch is in its prime right now. No pun intended. Metroid Prime. But yeah, Xenoblade is definitely gonna make this game awesome, especially playing with an OLED. Playing Xenoblade, it's very blue and colorful right now, so I'm looking forward to playing more of that soon. Probably after this, honestly. But yeah, let's talk about a little bit of what we've been watching. Um, so I guess I will go along similar to my Xenoblade kick here a second ago because I did mention it. I've been rewatching Evangelion, Neon Genesis Evangelion, with friends, with someone who's never watched before, and so every Friday night we watch Ava. It's been this way since February, maybe, or early March. So we watched like 5 episodes or something, and then now we're at the point where we watched all the movies, or all the regular movie stuff, and now we're in the rebuild movies, so like the retelling, the quote unquote alternate universe type stuff. Because there's a way to watch Ava. You have to watch the show.
Right.
You have to watch the end of Evangelion, which is what Xenoblade Chronicles reminded me of, was that particular movie. And then you also then you can watch the rebuild stuff. So we've watched 2 of the rebuild movies so far. So 1.11 and 2.22, and I'm still loving this show. It is probably, if not my favorite anime, like up there. Like it is in my top 10 for sure, probably top 5. It's just very good. It delivers its messages very well. The way that we watched it was we watched the series on my DVDs, or one of our sets of DVDs. We have the ADV Platinum edition, so that still has, it's from 2006 maybe, but that still has "Fly Me to the Moon" in it because they don't have the rights to that song anymore in the newer releases. So there's certain like instrumentals and the ending song, which is "Fly Me to the Moon," just Japanese. Um, like that isn't in the newer releases. It just feels kind of awkward because without it. Instead, it's just some other song instead. And it doesn't. Fly Me to the Moon is very much a palate cleanser for each episode at a certain point because it just gets more and more thought provoking, depressing, just so much, so heavy. To quote my Marty McFly. So like having Fly Me to the Moon at the end of it, like very upbeat and stuff, or just melancholy. Like it's nice to have that there. And when it's not there, instead it's I think it's like Ray One or something is the song. It doesn't fit it. So like the Netflix version and the G Kids Blu-ray, those are the same. Those don't have Fly Me to the Moon on them, so that's why we didn't watch it that way. So the DVDs that I have are expensive. I bought it when our disc replay was in its old location. Uh, that's when I bought it, and so like that was quite a while ago.
It
And
was.
yeah, like I bought that for like $70, I think, and it's only gone up in price. um, I don't know how much it is now, but yeah, it definitely has gone up in price at one point. And then, but on the Blu-rays as well, for the newer release, it has the movies for like End of Evangelion and the recap movie. So that's why we watch End of Evangelion on there because there isn't really a Fly Me to the Moon. There isn't anything too special, and the DVD release of that movie is awful. um, because it's manga entertainment, and manga entertainment just back then was it's just notorious for having low quality, poor compression and all this other
Right.
stuff because it's a theatrical widescreen, so there is like the black bar, but then it's also 4:3, so it's cut like that too. So it just feels really weird. So you have to like position it quite right in order to make it work, but it's not really 4:3, but that's the way that it just looks. So watching on the Blu-ray for the first time, it was eye-opening. That was the first time I feel like I've really watched the movie, and I've seen it 5 or 6 times. um, and then yeah, now we're watching the rebuilds, and those are on Blu-ray. But the Blu-rays are out of print. So if people wanted to watch the rebuilds, you would have to go on Amazon. So Amazon has the rights to the rebuilds with a new dub. We don't watch dub here. So like the dub that um, on my Blu-rays is the old Funimation dub, and it's notorious for being really bad. So, but yeah, no, subs I've watched for all of these. Way back when I bought that Evangelion at that old disc replay, I tried watching it dubbed and I hated it. And that was before like I was like really watching subbed or dubbed. I just hated the acting so much. I was like, it's kind of dumb. This is a dumb show. And I stopped it. But I still kept it.
Right.
Thank
Right.
God I kept it. What if I sold it? Like,
And I could back you up. Like I remember the first time I watched Kung Fu Hustle, it was subtitled,
mm-hmm.
their proper language, and then the dub version was awful. The jokes were not even because there's a loss in translation, and the jokes that they were trying to get through just didn't work. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you on that. I think if I could watch a movie in the original language, subtitled, I'd rather do that than dubbed. Sometimes I just watch dubbed because I am not in a position where I can read.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, I get you. Um, that reminded me um about poor localization. So I do have my screenshot up from last night from when I was playing. Wow, that looks really good on camera.
it does look really good.
Um, like you can see that. That's crazy. Um, but yeah, Minoru-kun, um, in Digimon Survive, said, "Oh boy, oh geez, Takuma, my man, let's make like a bread truck and haul buns." That's like one of the worst localization things I have ever heard.
I mean, that's pretty bad.
Like there probably is some sort of idiom, something that they're saying in Japanese, but like you had to try to be that stupid.
Yeah.
unless that's just what they expect out of that character. But like, I don't know. That's another problem with Digimon Survive is that like I'm hearing things in Japanese, like words I understand, and then I see the translation. I'm like, that's not what they said.
Yeah.
um,
It's always bad with with that, and I think we can even go back to old Godzilla films.
mhm.
Just that it just doesn't translate well. Or there used to be that Twitch channel. They showed was old martial art films. They are no longer in existence. It sucks, but like you would hear the same people that would do the same dub voices
Yeah.
every a lot, and I'm like, God, that's not what they're saying. It's pretty awful. But that's I totally get you on that. I think it's definitely a difficult thing.
Yeah. I think that one Twitch channel's still alive. The one that's just technology videos. I think I
Okay.
still follow them because like they just show like an old VHS tape or an old recording of like this is the first here's how to use Microsoft Word, and it's like from years and years ago. Like it's like Microsoft Word is a brand new thing. Here's how you do your margins. It's like so fascinating to
Yeah.
see something like that in this day and age. Um, or like they also show like sometimes old Capcom promo videos from Japan. So it'd be like here's 1992's promo video from not Tokyo Game Show, but like something similar, like something where it was like sent out, like kind of how we used to get like the Kmart VHS tapes. I don't know if you know, like there was like the Donkey Kong Country one, there was the Banjo Kazooie one, Star Fox, um, like something like that. That's what it reminded me of. But like, yeah, no, man, what a time.
Oh, it was. It was crazy time.
Um, but the other main thing that I've been watching, and it's kind of just background noise, and it has been for a while, and I recently just got back into it. Is Young Sheldon.
Really.
Young Sheldon's good. Young
I, I
Sheldon is great.
I get all the clips
Yep.
on TikTok, and I
Yep.
think that's been my biggest source. So it's on my list to watch. I have not finished Big Bang Theory. I'm
Oh,
in
you
like
don't need to because I hate Big Bang Theory.
yeah, I'm actually enjoying Big Bang Theory. Um, I think I'm season 5.
That's
No,
where I quit because there was a certain point where Big Bang Theory became too much about it lost its focus. It became too much about the relationships of the characters and less about haha nerd jokes, comic books and stuff, which is like what it's supposed to be. So that's how I fell out of it personally. And then rewatching, I was like, I sh- I don't know. The writing was on the walls. Like I should have known that I wasn't going to enjoy this show as long as I did. But
it's on my
um,
list to watch. I've seen a lot of the scenes, and
yeah,
so um,
there's a
you
lot
know,
of good guest stars in it. Like the one who plays his Mima, his grandma is what's her face? Ghostbusters.
oh
Uh,
yeah,
oh, man, what's her name?
I can't think of her name either. Um, oh, it's totally killing me. Yeah, she was not only in the first two Ghostbusters, but she was also in the last one that just came out a couple summers ago.
Yeah, she was. Man, what's her name? I'm looking her up right now. Annie
I
Potts.
yep.
Yeah, Annie Potts is in it. So like, and she's like a main character, and she's really really good
So
at acting.
so this is gonna blow your mind. It's like funny, but blow your mind. So there was an episode of Big Bang Theory where Sheldon's roommate has to confront his bully. He saw him out somewhere. He wants to confront him, but all the crap. The actor that plays his bully is actually the actor that plays Sheldon's dad in Young Sheldon.
Oh, that's awesome. So like, that's how they found the actor. Essentially, was like, we like you so much, we're gonna put you
So
in here.
yeah, he was a bully, and so you know he was confronting his bully from high school, blah blah
Mm-hmm.
blah, and like this was it was so funny because I'm like, that's Sheldon's dad. How
Yeah.
bizarre is
Huh.
that? So I haven't watched it. It's in my. I'm gonna watch it at some point. It's just
It goes by really quick. Like I feel like the episodes are about 20 minutes long. Honestly, I don't. I feel like they're shorter than most television because
Is it? It's on Hulu, right?
no, it's on HBO Max for sure.
Okay.
So that's how I've been watching it. Um, but yeah, no, it has Annie Potts. It has Wallace Shawn in it,
Yeah.
and he's like a main character, like a main like recurring character. Um, and man, it had someone else. I forget. I can't think of it now. But like, yeah, no, Wallace Shawn being there was awesome to see him because he's just. I feel like he's just being himself or being him from The Princess Bride, but modern.
I wonder if anywhere in that show does he say inconceivable?
Oh no! So far he hasn't, unfortunately,
I feel like
but
he should.
I
I feel
bet
like
he
he's
does at some point.
yeah. Um, so I'm going to go a little bit of a tangent here. So I
Mhm.
have to ask this, okay? So, and I know you like have your topics you want to talk about, but I was going
No,
to
you're good.
ask you about. Okay, so there was two trailers in the last couple weeks that have popped.
Right.
Okay, so there was the new Transformers movie, which is done right. Okay, and then there was the new Flash trailer. Have you watched both those trailers?
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. That's
Uh,
controversial. Apparently, people don't like him saying that. There.
oh, people need to stop. Uh, it got my youngest or my oldest son to turn around and watch that Batman, and he's like, "I kind of see it." And I said, "But you got to think." So not only was this Batman like hugely successful, first time they've done something like that, but it's a Tim Burton film as well.
Mm-hmm.
The first two were at least, and I
Yeah,
said it was done just so well. And because his favorite Batman is Robert Pattinson,
I
which
still haven't seen that movie.
I get it. Um, but like for me, like this was the oh my gosh, like Jack Nicholson is a Joker, and he's
Yep.
like, "What? Heath Ledger was better." I said, "No one's trying to compare either one of them.
They're so different.
They are." And so the fact that he's in there, the Supergirl's in there, um, I feel like there's people they've not shown yet, and I think you said something the other
They
day.
showed in the latest trailer. They showed. I mean, so this is common knowledge, but now, but Zod's in it.
Yes, they showed Zod.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. People are speculating if there's more Batman in it. I'm not sure if there actually are or not.
There in one of the scenes, that's Ben Affleck's Batman.
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. He's in it, but like, there's a certain scene where it looks like the Bat Cycle from Christian Bale's, and
Yeah,
so people are trying to figure out if that's Christian Bale or not.
how cool would that be? Just the fact that Michael Keaton's in it, and I think I mentioned this to you, is my favorite scene where they're getting. He goes, "You're locked into your parachutes," and he goes, "Where's yours?" And he just smiles and he drops
Yep.
right, and he's like screaming at the top of his lungs. This is why I hope the character that plays Flash gets his shit together. I really do,
I don't think
because
he is.
I feel like he nails that role. Like they've talked about the one from the Flash series taking over, but I don't think it's the same. To me, it's not the same.
I really like Grant Gustin a lot. Now, granted, I haven't watched the Flash series in a long time, um, but he is my Flash when I look at live action.
Yeah,
He embodies Barry Allen very very well. Um, if anything, they can do this Flashpoint and then maybe give us a Wally West, and then that's how they could explain like, oh, we can drop this actor now. We can just have Wally instead because for years we didn't have Barry. Like when I was growing up, no one really knew who Barry was because Wally was in the Justice League cartoon. He was in comics. Like Barry didn't show up until um Crisis.
and I feel like those WB shows. I have to. I
Big
watched.
Crisis.
I watched half of Green Arrow, and so
Yeah.
I watched.
I didn't like Arrow. I
I liked it to a certain spot, and then I'm like, okay, this is almost too much for me.
The problem with Arrow is that they really want to make a Batman show, but they don't have the rights to make Batman, so they make Green Arrow into Batman, and that's why there's Ra's al Ghul, why there's Talia, why there's all this League of Shadows nonsense.
Yeah,
Because they really wanted to make a Batman show, but it's like, whoops, sorry, we can't.
yeah. Well, that trailer has sold me on that movie. And
Yeah,
then the second trailer for Transformers, did you get to see that one?
no, I actually didn't.
I almost don't want to say anything to spoil it, but
I mean,
uh,
do what you want. Do what you want. This is your show, you know.
it's our show. But I will tell you, I'm not going to spoil anything. But after I was watching it, my wife's like, "You are so giddy right now," and she's like, "It's like your 6 year old self."
Yeah.
Um, and number one, just for the fact that Optimus Prime looks like Optimus Prime, it
Hmm.
is enough.
Yeah.
Uh, even the like, I just think it's done right. I think like I liked Bumblebee, and people were like, "Oh, Bumblebee was
I
crap."
only watched half of it, and that's not a fault of the movie. It's that I didn't watch it until I was watching it on TV, and then I had to walk away. So, but what I did watch, I really enjoyed. What was his face? John Cena was in it. I like how I have to do this to think of John Cena. Um,
Zach right now is super proud of you.
yeah, I know. Because he was GI Joe, right, or something like that. Wasn't he like? Isn't
I
he
mean,
technically GI Joe?
John Cena? No,
I thought there was like some sort of like Hasbro connection to where like
they might have done it.
I thought he was technically GI Joe, or if not, like in that sort of command.
It would not be the first time that they've taken a WWE wrestler and turned him into GI Joe. I think we all remember. Well, no one remembers. Sergeant Slaughter was not only in the movie but was in the show after, which made things totally unfair.
Yeah.
I've been rewatching the cartoons here and there. Hasbro has all of the show on there, and like the one where he accidentally goes to a fighting tournament because they thought it was the wrong Joe that signed up, and like Sergeant Slaughter's just kicking the shit out of everybody, like with no like trouble, right?
Hmm.
Okay, at some point he's got to lose, but them using John Cena,
Okay,
not
it's not GI Joe, but like his name is Jack Burns, but he's a U.S. Army colonel and stuff. But for some reason, I thought the original development for this was they were trying to make it related to GI Joe as well.
you remember the Marine movie?
No, I'm
Just a,
still looking at Bumblebee. Like for some reason, I thought like that was originally like they were just trying to put all of their eggs in a basket and like have backdoor pilots again, because I think that was at because when Bumblebee came out, they were already done with those other two GI Joe films, right?
oh yeah, those are horrible.
Yeah, I saw the first one and maybe bits of the second one, and yeah, they were awful. But
It's not.
um, but
And
yeah,
I think the best part of Bumblebee is that first 20 minutes when they're having the war on Cybertron. The fact that they showed so many OG, there,
yeah,
and there's in this trailer you see a bunch of Transformers. We don't even know who is going to show up,
hmm,
and I love that. Like I compare it to Spider-Man, the last Spider-Man movie. Like
okay,
we
anyone could be
all
there.
we all had that thought of like they're all three going to be there, and then finally when you watch it, you're like, holy shit, they're all there. I think this movie is going to be the one in the summer where you're like, oh my gosh, seriously? Like, and I want you to watch the trailer, so I don't want to spoil it for you.
All right.
But they didn't do a significant person or a
Mm-hmm.
significant evil.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much significant. Like,
Okay.
watch it, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, like, and I know I went on a huge tangent with all this, but like, I'm so excited for this to be the start of the summer. Like, and I know Guardians is coming out as well, and
That's this
I'll
week.
yeah, I'm just not as excited as I am to see Transformers and Flash. I know that sounds odd. I like them, but I'm just
It's their
not.
last film, so that's
Yeah,
why I'm gonna see it. I'm seeing it probably in a few weeks. So I'm not gonna see it immediately because I want to beat that or avoid the rush, I should say. if there is a rush. I feel like there will be because it is their last film. If it wasn't, then I feel like it would be less of a rush there because people are falling off of these films now.
I think
I did watch. I didn't say this, but I did watch Love and Thunder, the
what did
the Thor
what did we
movie.
on that?
I liked it.
I thought it was great.
I thought it was way better than Ragnarok.
Uh, I didn't like so the first Thor was like it's a setup story. I get it. Second one was like I'm not really enjoying this, but I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah,
I loved Ragnarok.
I didn't like Ragnarok. I think it's
I,
because and I was talking to this with a friend. I think it's because of Jeff Goldblum. I think Jeff Goldblum steals the show so much and he's just being himself is that it makes the show that movie very goofy more so than it's trying to be, and it just feels like what am I watching here? Do you
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah. I felt like the stuff with the Hulk was great, and I
Yeah,
love
no,
how
I enjoyed that stuff.
Led Zeppelin.
Mm.
The fact that this movie has like Guns N' Roses music. Um, every time that I've watched, spoiler, I should probably say that if you've not watched it, Love and Thunder, the scene where Thor gives all those Asgard kids power.
Oh yeah,
Like,
at the end.
every time we watch it, my kids are like watching it, and that's their favorite scene. I'm
It's a
like, you're
good
not.
scene.
I said, you're not scared of any of the monsters and stuff. They're like, nope. Uh,
Well, like
y-
yeah, there's like it's really good. It's good choreography for children, but also like the CG effects and everything are awesome. And Christian Bale, back to Christian Bale, he did a really really good job as that villain. Like an
but was
excellent
he?
job.
But was he really a villain?
No, but like he portrayed it like scary and not at the same time. Kind of gave me
No,
like Disney Channel original movie vibes where like what's that movie Don't Look Under the Bed or like something like that, you know, where it's like oh, it has jump scares a little bit, like it is a more mature movie for kids. Like that's kind of like what this felt like. So that's why I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed uh Thor like talking to Mjolnir for a bit. He's like, "Hey, how's it going? Are you doing all right?" And then like his axe just like slowly pans into shot. And it's like, "Oh, sorry, I was just talking to a friend."
I loved, I love that the movie, but I do agree. Like I am not like now the Marvels. I'm super excited for
Hmm.
mostly because I saw Kamala already in that series,
Yeah,
and the way it ended makes sense. And so I'm super excited for that one there, especially where we get to see a TV show person, right? So she was on a series on Disney Plus for Disney Plus, now moving to the big
same
screen.
thing with what's her name, Monica Rambeau. Like she was in WandaVision.
Yeah, I still have not watched all that. That one's just one that
WandaVision is one of the best things that Marvel has produced, in my opinion.
I have to finish it. I did like. I was like the only few people that liked uh, Falcon and Winter
I never
Soldier.
finished it.
And it's I feel bad for the actor that was playing the new Captain America because once he picked up the shield, I'm like, oh, I totally hate this guy. This guy's a dick.
Yep.
And I feel bad because he's just portraying a character,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But like, you're like, oh, I don't like this guy at all. Like, it's that whole thing of like, who was it? Oh, the guy that used to. There's a character on Walking Dead called the Governor, right?
Hmm.
And he's an awful character on the show. And he's like, I would be getting coffee. And people come up to me and they'd be like, I hate you. Like, because people would be like rude to me. I'm like, dude, it's a character,
Hmm.
which I didn't know. Did you know that's like Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn's son
No.
that played Captain America in that?
Huh.
I did not know that until like, um, so yeah, that's their son.
Okay. Huh.
I mean, spoiler, his friend died, but that's
Yeah.
what he get.
Yeah, like so yeah, like the only Marvel thing now I'm thinking about it, that I haven't watched is I haven't watched all of that. I haven't watched all of Falcon Winter Soldier, and I also didn't watch the Black Widow movie. I still haven't watched Wakanda Forever. I still haven't watched that.
It's long.
Yeah,
It's
that's the thing is
My
like
wife and I took 2 days to watch it because we started on a weekday. It's like 2.5 hours. Um, I liked it. I thought it did an awesome job as a tribute.
yeah.
You know,
We we
I
I don't know if I told that story on this podcast. We tried to watch Black Panther at my house with my mom, who like enjoys films in general, but she's not very Marvel or anything like that. And she wanted to watch Black Panther because it's very like, I mean, it's iconic. It's
right.
it's a it's supposed to be like this big movie um for everyone, and like, so because of all the awards and just to support black actors and things, like my mom was like, I should go and watch this and just see how it is. We get 30 minutes in and she hates it because she's confused. And then like watching it, I was like I don't know how people got through this who weren't Marvel already. Like I
Yeah.
know there were a ton of people who watched it um and liked it and everything and like gave it good reviews and stuff, but there is so much homework you need to know for that film to know what the hell is going on at all. Like
The
you need to
American,
know what happens in Civil War.
yeah,
You need to know what's what is it, vibranium is. You need to know what's just who he is, what that city is. Like there's so much homework that you just need to know in order to fully enjoy the film. And I just don't understand. Like I I enjoyed the film. I think the film was really good. But as a standalone thing, like I get it. Like I'm not
yeah.
upset that she didn't enjoy it. We ended up watching No Way Home instead, and she loved that because she has the touchstones to those. All right, she knows the Spider-Man.
I I think Disney Plus has done a good job where if you want to watch, okay, so if you want to watch Black Panther, right? They have it
Yeah,
chronologically. They
exactly.
be, there. Um, hell, you could watch all the Marvel movies in order of where they would be.
All the ones that they have.
Yeah, they don't have any of the other, but they did just get some Spider Mans.
Yep.
They got 1 through 3, and then they got
Venom, right?
no, they've not got Venom
Oh,
yet.
they're getting Venom though. They're getting
Yeah,
the first one here soon.
they're gonna get the first one. The weird thing was that they did they have one of the Andrew Garfields.
Yeah, they don't have the second one, so I wonder if like Stars still has it or something.
Yeah, and then later this month they're gonna get No Way Home, but they're not gonna have the other two.
Yeah.
So it's gonna take some time. It's gonna take some time, but I think you know we're moving in the right steps. I mean, hell, they have Deadpool,
Yeah.
and who thought that Deadpool 1 or 2? And I watched Deadpool 2 on there just to make sure. Oh no, that's the full Deadpool. I mean,
Yeah.
eh,
It is. Yeah.
it's so. Uh, I do wish that HBO, whatever it's going to turn into here this month, HBO Max would do that with their DC films, and like have everything there because there's still a bunch of DC films that aren't on there. I mean,
Or they've disappeared
yeah.
because of Max and all that kind of stuff.
Well, it's just gonna be called Max here pretty
Yeah.
soon, and then my price goes up, and then I think they said for I think it's gonna go to $15.99 a month. Like, oh, but you know what? For $4 more, you get Discovery. I'm like, shit. The only thing I'm gonna watch on Discovery is Ghost Hunters. That's what I'm gonna watch. I love the Ghost Hunter shows,
Yeah.
even though it's total. Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes I feel like they're just making noises somewhere, but I'm not gonna pay $15 or $20 a month for that.
Yeah, no, I agree. And also the I think it's people who are subscribed to HBO through like cable providers, the price isn't changing. So I'm safe because my parents pay for HBO that way. That's how we have HBO Max.
I have it
Because it's
through Hulu.
cheaper overall.
I have it through Hulu,
Mhm.
so mine's gonna go up a
Okay.
dollar.
But no, a thing that I noticed and I forgot to tell you about it. I don't know how much your kids are watching that anymore, but there's a problem. Like if you go to like the last chance section, there well one Space Ghost Coast to Coast supposedly is disappearing from there. I don't know why. Um and then it says Clarence is disappearing. But if you go to the Cartoon Network section, it says a lot more are going away, and they're not in the last chance section. So like it's just really weird. Like all the Ben 10s are disappearing. Dexter's Laboratory is disappearing. Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Like there's a lot of stuff that's like, where is this going? Because like they own this. Like there
Yeah,
shouldn't, unless after this weird Max HBO debacle, like maybe they did sell it off to Hulu again or to Netflix or something like that.
see, and it's to me, you know, thank goodness that Cartoon Network is alive and well on YouTube because they stream almost everything.
Yeah.
And they like last weekend was like crazy crossover weekend, and so they had like all the episodes of things of crossovers
Hmm.
of like other shows. Um, it's sad because I feel like Adult Swim is gone, and that was where you could watch most of Adult Swim. Space Ghost Coast to Coast was like super early in there.
So you should just buy the DVDs, like I told you a while back. It's like
I know,
at this point you just need to.
yeah, and they're actually pretty reasonably priced now,
Yeah.
and I may have to. Um, but like Aqua Teen's gonna stay. I tried watching the new movie. I got like 10 minutes in, and that was it. I don't think it's as funny as what it was 10 years ago or
Probably
whatever.
not. Yeah, I didn't watch it.
Uh,
No,
yeah,
Harvey Birdman's still excellent.
yes, Harvey Birdman was always good, which is hilarious because my dad used to love Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Hmm.
I'm not even kidding. I said, "Do you know there's like 2 movies?" He's like, "There's movies of this?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "They're not like 10 minutes." I said, "No."
Yeah, like
Uh,
the first one like went to theaters and like it was a huge thing. Because that was the thing with the bombing, right? Like where people thought that the Moonanites sign, the neon sign in New York, they thought like it was a bomb threat.
yeah, yeah.
And then like Adult Swim like had like one of their bumpers, and they had to be like, "Hey, that was us. It's not a bomb."
It's a super sad day when all these awesome shows are leaving. And maybe maybe they'll go to Hulu. I have Hulu.
Yeah, I have
That's
Hulu.
you know, their their favorite episode is the one where what's the little kid's name that's always mean to everybody on clearance? I can't think of his name. Belson.
Mm,
Belson has a sleepover, and it's supposed to be a scary one. And he has some new video game system, and whoever does not get scared gets the system, right?
mm,
And so like he gets this it's like a hockey mask. He has this chainsaw. It says little chainsaw, and he's scaring everybody, right? At the very end, Clarence's stepdad or whoever he is shows up, and they jump in the car and they go 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 go, right? And Belson's literally flipping the chainsaw around in the air. It's the exact same thing from Texas Chainsaw
yeah.
Massacre, and it's so like but they love that episode. They love Belson. Um, Clarence. My wife was like, "Why is this kid just?" They said Clarence is the kid that loves everybody else and doesn't care who you are, and he's still friends with you.
Hmm.
And I said, now later seasons, it got really weird because we were talking about this. The guy that is the voice for Clarence got in trouble for something.
Yeah, and he's the creator as well.
Yeah,
So like that's why the show changed.
it's kind of like I think it's kind of like Squidbillies at the very end when
Yep.
the guy did some racial stuff. Uh, but they at least can watch those first couple episodes, and you know, even regular show they started watching some of that.
Oh yeah.
So
I've actually been watching that again. Finished the first season.
I
Um,
actually do own both of those on Blu-ray, or at least 2 seasons of
yeah.
Blu-ray.
So yeah, I own that as well. So season 1 and 2 is one Blu-ray set, and season 3 is DVD only, and that was all they released.
Yeah,
So that's
I
what
have
I have
both.
as well.
I have both of those. So yeah, sorry, I went like this huge tangent that turned into like
That's what this is. That's what this is for. I mean, so we do here. Honestly, I don't really want to talk about the topic per se because we can always talk about it later. Um, because it's not really. I mean, it is relevant to now, but at the same time, it'll still be relevant next time. Um. So anyway, yeah, I fell back into my seat. So that's what that happened for the past hour. I just slowly fell back. Um, yeah, this has been the Get Eye Gaming Plus podcast, where two of us here, maybe more sometimes. We all talk about just stuff that we like to talk about, whether that's I don't know. I mean, we talked about HBO Max for a bit. We talked about TV shows, video games, movie trailers, movies, everything that we like. If you like this, go ahead and follow us or subscribe to us on any of the podcast services of your choice where we are. Really appreciate it if you could go to Spotify and at least listen or subscribe on there, because the way that our stuff is working right now is that Spotify owned, and so that's really the only place that they're looking for. So they're looking at. So if you really want to support the show, we do. We would rather you go there than other places, but at the same time, we understand that you may just want to do it where you're at because it's more convenient, and that's totally fine. We get it. Um, you can also find this on YouTube, youtube.com/GetAgaming in a video format. Maybe you'll find this on video format on Spotify as well at some point. We're going to try to mess with that and see how that goes. But yeah, I'm trying to think of what else I have here. I don't really have anything else. Do you have anything else to say to the lovely people?
To just get at it.
Get at it.